Okay. That'll be pretty damn close.
For fuck's sakes, man! I swear to God. Fucking my luck, man. I've got to reset the camera. I've got to fucking do everything else. Fucking show you all the fucking shit that I haven't done in the room yet. The camera's all fucked to shit. I dropped the damn thing. Oh, fuck.
That was hilarious.
No, dude, it's just my fucking luck. I swear. It's just my fucking luck.
I love that.
You're a pain in the arse, I swear.
I excel at that. Just ask my wife.
Right, hello guys. Welcome to episode 193 of the Bammsters Rated R podcast. Right, my name. Yeah, I do have a name. My name is Bamm. Yes, Bamm Havoc. Right, joining me as always is my partner in crime, Drac. Drac, say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Right, right. So this is kind of a full episode. We're going to talk about. Shut up, you. We're going to talk about some things. Okay, some things that interest us this week. So yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy. We just had an interview with Betty, the developer of Luna from Lantern Studios, based in London. That was a very, very interesting interview. She talked a lot of sense. She had a lot of experiences, trials and tribulations, and all that stuff. Very, very interesting interview. And her game will be launching 13th of February. The episode we recorded with her will be launching before that. So, yeah, happy days. Very, very good one. You want to stay tuned for that one. So, yeah, I'm going to do the comment and subscribe and stuff so you don't miss it. I've got to do these things now because you kind of got to. Thanks, YouTube. Yeah. Anyway, Drac, what we're going to talk about today. What's been interesting you this week, Draconis?
What's been interesting to me? He says, as the first topic on the notes today is one that you brought up.
Yeah. If you've noticed on YouTube, a lot of the Witcher stuff has exploded on YouTube recently, particularly about that Witcher song.
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
That's it. And I think I heard a heavy metal version of it. That sounded pretty cool, man. There's also an epic orchestral version. It's pretty cool. So, it's like, well, why don't we talk about The Witcher? Everyone's still talking about The Witcher a month on. So, yeah, topical as always. We're on topic.
I don't get how that became the thing from that show. Like, I mean, all props to the guy playing the bard, and that was all well and cool, but of all the things for people to obsess on, I didn't get that was the thing that they wanted to obsess on, was that song.
It's quite a catchy tune, it rhymes quite well, and there's a good rhythm to the actual song. I don't think they've played the bard very well. The actor, excellent. The interactions between the bard and the Witcher himself could be more sort of bro comedy, a bit like Bad Boys. They could play off each other a bit more.
Well, I think, but it's hard to say a bit like Bad Boys, just because the fact that when you think about Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's characters in that there is a deep like feeling between the two, and like they're basically like they feel like they're brothers. They're they would die for each other, that kind of thing, right? Whereas the relationship between the Witcher and the Bard is the Witcher could care less if the Bard walked off a cliff. So
yeah, and the thing is, you're quite right. I don't get that feeling from the Witcher as well. Whether he's there or not makes no odds to him. Later on in the show, the Bard finds the Witcher, and the Bard, pisses the living shit out of the poor guy. The Witcher, you actually feel kind of bad for him. The guy can't sleep. And then at the end, he's like, I don't give a shit whether you live or die, you're nothing but a bard, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking, if you had said that in the beginning, there would be more of an understanding, and then the bard would be more sort of...
But he did tell the bard several times to piss off along the way.
No, but it wasn't emotional. It wasn't heartfelt. It was robotics sounding... it just felt like a line he was saying. And yes, I'm picking on this particular instance because I do feel a lot of the problem with The Witcher, the only problem that I've really found with it was that the actor's excellent. But the way he's been asked to play the Witcher is a bit soulless, a bit video gamey, which isn't necessarily a thing. The Witcher does have feelings, you know. He does have a soul, and he keeps getting reminded he doesn't. But you can clearly see he does. Otherwise, he wouldn't wear that brooch on a sword, you know, to remind him. He wouldn't do things the way he's doing them if he didn't have these complex human feelings.
Yeah, you still see that in the way that he wants to approach, you know, the different creatures. Like, he doesn't want to just outright slaughter them, which, you know.
My camera's gone out of focus. Oh, there it is, back again. Apologies.
But yeah, I mean, he doesn't.
Never done that before.
He doesn't want to just run out there and slaughter stuff. You know, he basically, you know, he knows that these creatures, you know, a lot of them are not always necessarily harmless, and that, you know, sometimes it's situational. But I don't know. Let's see, what was The Witcher missing? Maybe an appearance by Sean Bean.
There we go. Somehow we've got to find a slot for Sean Bean to fill in, because Sean Bean always dies, and it's always in the first season. I didn't see Sean Bean in this, and this is quality Sean Bean material. I mean, he's done the whole sort of swords and daggers and cloaks and freaking shields and stuff. Where was Sean Bean in this? He would have been excellent. He would have played a perfect role.
Maybe.
Why wasn't he the wizard that got, you know, taken by the Doppler? He would have made an excellent. It would have been perfect for him.
Well, and you know,
perfect death scene as well.
Well, and the funny thing about that is he could have died and still been useful. Like, you still could have seen him again. Because the way that all works out, like, you'd still see him on screen afterwards.
Yeah.
So there you go. You know, Sean Bean, if you're out there listening, yeah, right. Here's a role for you: get killed by a doppelganger. And then you can still play in the TV series.
Perfect role for him. He could have still come back and made a cameo appearance. Come on, Sean. Dude, come on. My favorite show he's ever acted in was Sharp. I loved it. When I was a kid, I used to watch Sharp's Challenge and Sharp's this and Sharp's that. I loved it. And ever since then, I've been a big fan of Sean Bean.
Yeah, you mentioned that in another episode where we were talking about
I know. Just because it's so good. I mean, I know it's not factually accurate towards the Napoleonic Wars and whatever have you, but it's a damn good story, you know?
Say it's a TV series, so what do you expect?
I know, but it's loosely based on various battles and bits and pieces and whatever have you. And even those bits and pieces that it's based on didn't necessarily happen and whatever. But it's a damn good story. You know, one man's struggle to make it in this world where when his chips are, you know, everything's against him, his chips are down, and he's constantly reminded that he's nothing, and he just constantly rises to the occasion when everyone else runs away. Oh, loved it. And the acting in Sharp, not just by Sean Bean, but by his rifle platoon or squad, it's just great. And the play, the interaction between him and his Irish sergeants is just quality, and you can see that they enjoy it. Oh, you got me started on Sharp now. You see, next I'll be going on Hornblower. Don't get me started on Hornblower either, sweetheart.
Yeah, I never got into that one either. But
what you get?
Speaking of, well, you know what? Back to the TV series though. One thing I wanted to... Did you have a difficult time at all following along with the different changes in the timeline? See,
no.
There were a couple of times where I was a little bit frustrated because I thought that they could have used some kind of subtext to let you know when in the timeline things were happening. No. I haven't read the books, and I think a lot of folks that watched that series, and some of whom I've talked to since, you know, who have seen it, that whole time jumping through time thing was a little bit puzzling for them. But I saw somebody write online that I thought where it made a lot of sense is, you know, because Geralt was introduced into the books, and then later on Yennefer was introduced, and then further on beyond that Ciri is introduced. The way that things happen on screen is when it's focused on one specific character, from episode 1 to 8 throughout the first season, it's all linear. When it goes to a different character, those events may be happening a couple decades or even 100 years later, depending on which scene it is, but it's still linear for the character that it's focused on, because that allowed them, and I thought this was actually kind of a smart choice by the writers too. It's pretty clever, where it allows them to introduce all three characters at once, even though Ciri wasn't born until maybe a couple hundred years after Geralt started to make a name for himself.
Okay, right. You've looked into this far. You've gone down that rabbit hole. Okay. I see where you're coming from. Honestly, I do. For myself, I think what they did was where they chopped it up. How they got the lioness. I'm talking about the little princess Chicky Bird that got lost, whatever have you, and then found an elf friend, that dude there, and then he saved her and she saved him and all that stuff with the doppelganger and whatever. That was great. The way she's acted, the way she's been portrayed, and how she is finding herself in the world and being lost at the same time, but finding herself within herself, and then finding Geralt the savior. Excellent. I loved it. I didn't find the chops in that timeline an issue. I think it's a fresh take on how to tell the story, because if they just said bleh and this is it, it would have been a bit redundant, a bit overdone, and the way they've chopped it in bits and pieces in different scenes. And like you said, when it comes to Geralt and oh god, that poor girl, I keep forgetting her name.
Yennefer.
That's it, thank you. That poor girl, and you could see how Yennefer came to be. It's like, yeah, dedication to the cause there.
Oh yeah, no, the series, the series overall was very enjoyable, and it's got a nice payoff when you hit to the last episode, and everything kind of makes its way to the same point in time. And like I said, I think that the way that they broke that up, with the different timelines and stuff like that, was pretty clever, because it does allow them to introduce all the characters at the same time, and to tell those stories. I just think it would have been, especially for folks who weren't as familiar with that world or those characters, I think it probably would have been a little bit nicer had they had like a little bit of subtext at the bottom that was just like, this is happening this year, whatever.
Okay, now I'm going to be truly honest. The only Witcher game I've played is Witcher 3. Okay, don't shoot me. Okay, I just saw Witcher 1 and 2 as another Skyrim, and essentially, if you boil it down, it's the same sort of gameplay with different stories and subtext and cultures and whatever have you. And of Witcher 3, I've only played like 8 hours of it, and that's still wandering around the place trying to find where, the what, and how. The Red Baron, I think I'm still doing a mission for him, I think. So I can call myself a Witcher newbie, not a fanatic. So speaking from my experience, having not known the Witcher universe at all, or the very, very little of it, I didn't find the timeline chopped to pieces. I didn't need a subtext, because all the loose ends were tied up in the coming episodes. They were all neatly tied up. The problem with the Witcher series is, even though I've learned, happy endings have horrible beginnings. So obviously Geralt found the young lioness, and bad things are going to happen. You just know bad things are going to happen, interspersed with pretty funny jokes and a lot of skin-to-skin contact, I'm sure.
Well, so I played the first Witcher game for quite a bit, but I never finished it. I don't remember why, but I never even started on the second Witcher game. And then I've only recently picked up the third one, and I've still been trying to find time to play that, but I just haven't been getting around to it. So I'll probably actually use this episode as an excuse, because I'll go record footage of The Witcher to run next to.
Yeah, do that. That's your yeah. There we go. The series got you back into playing the game. Not the game got you into the series. But I tell you what, though, Netflix, just culminating it all now. We've got to get off the topic and move on now, right? Netflix. I am shocked that Netflix has actually spooled up the money for this, because even though I do have little nitpicks and foibles and whatever have you, and I could still think they could have done the Dragon episode a lot better. A lot better. It's a bloody good series. I would recommend it to anyone. Netflix is constantly hitting these things out the park, And I know there was some controversy about The Witcher initially, but I tell you what, I'm pleased with the product that they've produced. The Geralt acted well. The supporting cast is great. And to be honest, I don't think Geralt is the main character of the story. I think it's Yennefer.
It could be. I was kind of thinking that it's going to focus more on Ciri going forward, or it could focus a lot more on her going forward.
Honest to God, I think Yennefer's the main character. I think Geralt. I think in this story, or this part of the story, Yennefer's the main character. Oh God, I'm going on a tangent now. Yennefer's the main character, and Geralt's just the support. You know, because he's just the supporting character, and Yennefer's the one doing all these bits and pieces, trying to get her life the way she wants it, and she's gonna move mountains to make it happen. You know. So honestly, I think Yennefer's the main protagonist. Yeah, main character.
Yeah, I will say like the acting all around I enjoyed, and I have to say too, like with regards to the choreography, like the fight choreography and stuff, I was really impressed with that.
Oh yeah.
And he was doing all that.
Good fighting.
Yeah, he was doing all that. That was him. That wasn't like a stuntman sitting in place for him. So. It was interesting listening to some of the interviews where he was talking about that. But the thing that shocked me that I was pleasantly surprised by, was his voice. I didn't expect him to sound like that. And I know that they're probably taking direction in how he sounds based on how the video game character was voiced. And I know it's two different mediums and stuff like that. But I liked the way he sounded. I liked that it kind of paid homage to the video game in a way.
Oh, we're going to go back to the Dinklebot saga. I like Dinklebot. I thought the way he acted as a soulless robot was what he's supposed to sound like, and then Nullbot decided to rock up and ruin things because Bungie couldn't afford Dinklebot for the second round.
Well, was it that they couldn't afford, which is entirely a possibility, or was it more that they just took so much flack from so many people in the community that they decided to change it?
Nah.
I thought that was the reason they changed Dinklebot, was because there was so much like the community like memeing and making fun of Dinklebot.
No, that's probably the reason they used to sort of say no, we're going to move someone cheaper. Probably the reason they used, but at the end of the day, what talks money. And if Dinklage has got a set fee, and they could only afford it initially on the first round, you know.
Or maybe his fee went up because of his popularity.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Or maybe Dinklebot's like Dinklebot. Obviously, Peter Dinklage is like, you know what? This game's massively popular. I'm doubling my rates. Entirely possible. I don't know. I'm not an actor. I tell you what, if I had half the acting skill of Dinklage, I'd be made.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man.
He's a good actor. Him, like fuck.
Very, yeah. And emoting things with facial expression and stuff. Yeah, he did great. Although I say, still one of the things I loved the most was just some of the outtakes, like where it was the scene in Game of Thrones where he's coming up for the trial, but they had an outtake where he's doing like a dance on the way up there, and that was so hilarious.
Yeah. Is this the trial where Sean Bean dies?
No, that happened in season 1. This isn't the trial for Peter Dinklage was whether or not
the trial by fire when he had the sword. Okay.
Yeah, well, before the trial by combat, that was when he asked for trial by combat, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, and then okay.
So
right.
Well, speaking of games and me playing Witcher, have you been playing anything recently?
Yeah, World of Warships. Anthem.
That's what you said last time. That's not what you told me.
I know. I'm getting off that. Train. I'm still playing Anthem almost every night. I play it because I just like it. It's a good game, dude. I like it. I know I'm playing the same maps over and over again, but I just like it. I do. I like it. Flying through the air with a robot dude it just makes you feel like invincible. World of Warships is still my go-to game. I'm busy playing Outworlds, so
there we go. Yeah, see, for the folks listening, this was, as we discussed ahead of time for topics, Bam's like, oh, I'll talk about Outer Worlds because I've been playing that. And then we get into the episode and I'm like, Bam, what have you been playing? You're like, Anthem and World of Warships.
dude, come on. Like, I got to talk about those two games. Anthem is good. Sean Bean doesn't die. World of Warships, Sean Bean's the captain of my destroyer. I tell you what, those destroyers of mine are lethal.
That sounds like a band. Sean Bean's the captain of my destroyer.
Captain, my captain. No, seriously. I've been playing Outer Worlds. I was given a key for it, full disclosure and all that. I was given a key for it. And I'm amazed at how people can just play 3 hours of a game and just go, yeah, well, there's my... I'm thinking, you haven't even played the damn game. Play the game to its completion. There is a video on YouTube. I think someone did the whole game in 16 minutes, speed run or something.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, it's not the whole game, but yeah, speed running to the end.
No, the main storyline's done.
Yeah,
that's it. That's essentially the main storyline done. I mean, I'm playing the game.
Well, there's so much more.
I'm enjoying it. There's enough similarity to the game to make me want to call it. I'm gonna Fallout 4 in space.
Well, it's had plenty of comparisons to Fallout. I mean,
well, I shouldn't really say Fallout 4 in space. I should say, what's that one that? Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like Mass Effect, but it's like Fallout 4, and it's got that sort of 50s sort of tweak on it, and you know, you see those sort of 50s sort of adverts and whatever have you, and the 50s sort of again, audio adverts that you hear, you know, and it's got a map layout similar to Biomass 2. That's more of an accurate. Biomass 3, Biomass 2. So you can traverse the entire map, because obviously each planet's got its own map. So you can traverse the entire map in a few minutes, say 20 minutes. You can go around the whole map. But there's another place you can go. Whereas Fallout 4, as with Skyrim, there's a huge goddamn map, and you just go nuts at exploring. Whereas I like to just jump into a game, particularly those types of games, and not follow the main mission, and just go and explore. Whereas I'm noticing a lot of these side quests and other missions I've already been there, because what I do is I get to the map and I just get lost.
Yeah, but I had that problem with Skyrim. I don't think I ever got close to finishing the game because I was constantly getting sidetracked and exploring.
Yeah.
ESO is doing an expansion where they're bringing part of Skyrim in, and I guess they're starting with Darkhold, and I think my buddy was telling me, I think it's something like 40% of the map that they're introducing to ESO is going to be underground. And
yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. Like, I remember going in Skyrim and exploring a bunch of the old like ruins and dwarven ruins and stuff like that. And there was even one, I was talking to another buddy of mine about this because we both found this and we were playing around, and there was one where you were like on a mountaintop and you go down in and you go into this thing and you're exploring down there for a while, going through the whole system, and you come up at a different point and you've gone from one mountain underneath the valley up to the other mountainside on the other side.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was like so cool that they had all that built in there.
Yep. Whereas this one, it's quite small. Like I said, I'm on Monarch at the minute, Radio Monarch. I've just come off. It's not Stellar Bay. I've done the first one. I'm now moved on to Monarch. I've been to the space station. I've done a few missions there, whatever have you. I'm now on Monarch, and each area's got its own map that you can quite literally run around in 20 minutes. So it feels like I'm playing the game again, essentially, because of the way I like to play these types of games. Just go and get lost. So it's a lot of fucking. I shouldn't say that. It's a load of map loading, because I'm fast traveling, because I've been there. Just fast travel, done. Get there, do the mission, fast travel back, done. You know, because I've lost that experience, because I do. When I get to Terra 2, wherever I'm going to go next, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to land in the Unreliable, which is a great name for a ship. It's a great name. It's a great name. No, seriously.
That's the kind of ship you want to fly through space in.
Dude, no, seriously. You walk into the ship is a bit of a madhouse anyway. Okay, I've got a priest. I've got an engineer. I've got a really crazy. She's got blue pink hair. I tell you what, excellent. She's a cracking shot though. Heavy machine gun, giving it all the bang, 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 bang. I use her ability all the time. I do. Click, kill, and she just maims half the freaking map. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But the ship is like an augmented AI, where the ship kind of thinks it's alive, but it's still an AI. So you walk into the front door of the ship, and there's the placard, "The Reliable," and someone's etched in with lipstick or something, "The Unreliable." It's funny, and then you veer off right to go to the captain's table or whatever have you. But you see, this is where I think they've kind of cocked it, because the ship's landed right on the landing pad. You walk up to the ship on the landing pad. You get into the ship. Okay, you just load it into the ship. You go to the captain's room or the cockpit, and you're in space.
Oh, so there isn't anything showing that you take off?
So nope. So then you not that there should be, but what I'm trying to say is, you've just loaded into the ship that you know is on the planet. But when you look to the freaking windows, you're in space. It's like, hang on a minute, dude. Surely you should have just at least, just like, I don't know, stuck an image of the planet you're on there, you know? But they didn't do it. Anyway, it's just small things like that. I mean, it feels, how am I going to put this that doesn't upset people? Because I know I'm going to upset people. It feels like Fallout, but it plays like Mass Effect, and yet it's empty. The game feels empty. You've got the Borderlands vending machines where you can buy and sell anything you want. You've got the cool creatures that look really cool. You've got the characters that give you missions. You've got all these little bits and pieces, and yet the game feels empty. And I've only played 2 planets. I'm not counting the space station as a planet. The first one, where you find yourself crashed, done that one to death, and you had to make moral choices that makes you feel invested into it. But honestly, I didn't feel invested into it at all. Same thing with Monarch. You're having to, as I said, find the lesser of 2 evils. That's from Witcher. See, Witcher tying
it all in, yeah.
Yeah, and yet the game still feels empty.
Interesting.
There's everything you want. There's graphics. It looks cool. You've got everything you want, and yet for me,
something's missing.
This is why I'm playing it. I'm gonna play it to its completion, and I'm gonna do as much as I can in the game. And why I keep picking up on these other people that play the game for 3 hours, and I'm gonna write a review. Clickety click, clickety click. Yay! Look at me, a rare review. Well done, mate. Yeah. Tell us how the game played. So, we'll wait and see. I mean, I can't compare it to Anthem because Anthem is so horribly broken. I can't compare it to World of Warships because World of Warships isn't that sort of game. You know? And yet I get more fulfillment out of playing Anthem and World of Warships than playing Outer Worlds.
Well, I will say
this. And yet Outer Worlds is a better game, and yet you see the dilemma I'm in.
Yeah.
And I've got to put these words to paper and write a review when I finish the damn game. G's going to be laughing his arse off when he hears this one.
Well, you know what? I will say
this
as much as I'll give you a hard time about Anthem, because I really wanted so much more from that game. I haven't touched it in a while, but there are parts of it that are a lot of fun, and I'm glad you're having fun with it, dude. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. So you play a game, have some fun with it. And you mentioned all these spacefaring games, and one we were talking about a little bit before we started recording was one we did an interview on almost 4 years ago now, I think. Angels Fall First. And
Angels Fall First. Yeah.
There are so many cool things about that game, in my mind. I love you've got the FPS element to it, where you're down on the planet, shooting at each other. As I recall, when you're up in the the space carriers and stuff like that. You can run around inside the space carrier, hop into a ship, fly out, and there's I want to say, I'm pretty sure it's been 4 years, so bear with me. But we've been talking about maybe loading this one up and giving it a go again. But
Yeah.
I think you can fly out in that ship and there's like space combat.
Turn those turbines on, man. Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
and then you can actually land on the enemy carrier and like go into it and try and take it over.
Yeah.
I loved that whole thing.
Ship to ship combat, ship boarding ship combat, planetary combat, fighting. As in, it's. I'm a bit of a lot, mates. I know I've played Battlefield 4, I've done the Destiny, I've done the bits and pieces, but everything in the back of my mind, ever since we've interviewed that dude 4 years ago, is like, you know what? And yeah, Angels 4 first, man. I'm going to be loading that up again, giving it another swing, see if, because a lot of things have happened,
Well, and it looks like they're still updating.
When we first, oh yeah, they regular update. The thing is, I'm in their Discord now, and when we first interviewed them, Discord wasn't a thing.
Well, they had they had their Discord channel, but
no, they've only just recently started the Discord channel. Discord 4 years ago, dude, Discord wasn't a thing. It really wasn't.
I swore they had a Discord channel.
Nah, it wasn't a thing. Discord's only just recently freaking happened. I'm in their Discord now. It's been open for like 2 years or something.
Huh, okay.
We did this 4 years ago. We talked to the guy.
I know.
4 years. God, we've been speaking to indie devs for 4 years. Can you believe it? 4 years.
It's been a fun ride.
Oh no, dude! Almost everyone we spoke to, right, has been a right peach. It's cracking. It's cracking. Good laugh. And thank God we haven't come across any, Jim Sterling types. When I say Jim Sterling types, I'm talking about, suicide-y, whatever have you. Them crazy nutters. We've been quite lucky with the guys we've been speaking to.
Well, I think the key is we're talking to folks before they've made the big money.
Having said that, a lot of these people haven't made the big money, and then I don't know, people like Sid Alpha, Sterling, who else gets hold of these people, and they just tear them asunder, and some instances, quite rightly so, quite rightly so. They are just asset flips and whatever. But Angels 4 First isn't just an asset flip; it's an actual combined arms combat. And I tell you what, I'm going to be flashing that gear up again, probably end of the month. Because by the end of the month, I'll have finished Outer Worlds.
We'll have to do something, and not have you disappear on me like you did for Apex.
No, come now, dude. Apex on the PS4, man. I'm playing Outer Worlds on the PS4. I can only tell you about my PS4 experience. However, Angels 4 First is a PC game. So let me get my PC magic ready.
Yeah, well, my PS4 sits and collects dust most of the time, and guess what? The nail in the coffin just hit. Did you?
PS5 came out. Yep.
Nope. No, actually, that would have been the nail in the coffin, but no. Did you hear the news about Horizon Zero Dawn? Sony's going to release it for PC. So if they're going to release that for PC, then we might get God of War and Spider-Man for PC at some point.
Now that's interesting. Sony are releasing it for PC, but not Xbox. They're missing out on a market there, like, seriously.
Well, they may be missing out on a market. Yeah, but here's the thing, like, they're tapping into the PC market. There's a lot of people who play on PC who maybe don't have a console because, like myself, I bought mine secondhand, my PS4, and I kind of regret it, just because, I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn, I picked up God of War, and I started playing those titles. The problem is, when I sit down to do anything, my computer's already here and it's already on. When I sit down to do something on the PS4, I haven't turned it on in months, and it takes forever to update, and I'm like, well, screw it, I'm just going to go play a game on my PC.
But you can't blame the PS4 for your inability to keep it up to date.
No, I know. But my point is that I sit down, I work on, I work on my own stuff on my computer, I work on stuff for the show on my computer, so when I have time to play games, computer's already on, it's there. And I just don't spend... Plus, I have a hard time making time to play single-player games. I do enjoy them. The bits I've played of Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War, I thoroughly enjoyed. And
Weak sauce.
the only reason I didn't buy Spider-Man for the PS4 was because I was like, I'm not going to buy Spider-Man unless I can finish one of these other games. So
weak sauce.
So now I can get when it comes out, I'll be able to get Horizon Zero Dawn for PC and maybe play through half of it before I have to move on to something else.
Weak sauce. That's just excuses you're telling me. That's all I heard was excuses.
Yeah.
All I heard was meow, 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 meow.
I'm just not going to have a PS4 anymore is all that is.
Yeah, well, maybe Angels Fall First can take me off the PlayStation and turn me into a full-on PC masturbator. I mean, racer.
I figured you'd find a way to slip that in sooner or later.
Ah, come on, dude. I can't fucking figure out how to tie Sean Bean into dying in this episode. I've got to make up some silly joke. Although we did have a good idea with Sean being a Doppler.
The doppelganger, yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, that would have been a cracking one. Even though I don't think he would have gone for this whole children are my favorite. I don't think he would have done that. No. That's not a character Sean Bean plays, But he does play bad dudes. He does play heroes. He does play normal guys. It's well within his wheelhouse to do that. And again, like he said, he can keep on reprising the role later on in the story.
Yep.
So he's dead, but he's not dead. So yeah, great. Come on, Sean, you could have done it. If you did it, if you can die in Game of Thrones. I mean, let's face it, it's pretty easy to die in Game of Thrones. Just look at the right or wrong and you're dead, right? you can die in The Witcher and then come back. Yeah.
I don't know how that logic works, but I'd be in for it.
In Bamm's world, everything works. No, seriously, I've been racking my brain to figure out how we're going to tie Sean Bean in this, and the only thing I can do is he should have been in The Witcher so he could die. Because everyone else fucking is. Damn it, man. It would have been a good damn wizard, too. Sean Bean as a wizard. Fuck Harry Potter, I'm a wizard in The Witcher. What sounds more lethal? A wizard in Harry Potter or a wizard in The Witcher? What's more badass?
Well, I mean, is there really a contest in what sounds more badass? I mean, you're also talking about stories more towards an adult audience versus more towards a kid or a teen audience, so things are going to be kind of tamed down in Harry Potter. I think there's a lot of room for interpretation in Harry Potter as far as like just how drastic things could have gotten, though.
You've said Harry Potter more than twice. I've zoned out. Detour left.
I think that makes you a bad Englishman.
What?
Yeah. Harry Potter's like the thing over there, right? That's like
no.
That's representative of your countrymen.
No. I will vouch any episode of Harry Potter against Sharp.
Oh, here we go.
I will also stack on top of that Hornblower.
Yeah.
Boom.
Trying to remember if my wife... I think my wife watched Horatio Hornblower for a while, but it was another one of those things that I kind of looked at and I'm like, no. It wasn't my thing.
Again, similar sort of thing. A young lad, trying to overcome himself and, bits and pieces within whatever have you. It's a great story. It's a good story.
That's an excellent, excellent description, Bam.
Look, I don't want to give too much away.
That kind of description with your review for Outer Worlds.
No, I know. Look. Okay, I'm tired. All right, I'm tired. Right. All I can really say is that Horatio Hornblower, joined the Royal Navy, banked on his father's name, and then got given grief for it. So then he made his own name, and in so doing, standing up for what he believed was right, was beat down several times by questionable characters that ultimately met their fair and just end. Okay? He himself then has to go through trials and then learns about himself. And then, because of him learning about himself and always having a head on his shoulders, which Sharp always did, was able to outsmart, outwit, and outthink a lot of other bits and pieces. And if you think about the times they fought, the Napoleonic Wars, everyone still goes back to those days. You know, Battle of Waterloo. You know, good God, the Battle of Trafalgar. You know, the hardships some of these people had to go through. Not like nowadays, we're sitting in a nice, warm, cozy house talking over the internet. Nah. People died of God knows anything. A sniff, you'd be dead next week.
Oh, speaking of that, you know what? You just said that. Have you watched the Dracula show on Netflix yet?
No.
Okay, it's only 3 episodes long, but each episode's like an hour and a half, something like that. But watch that.
No, okay.
For the most part, I thought it was really good, but there was some part of it that towards the end that I felt was kind of frustrating. It's almost like they lead you in a direction and then it just... It seemed pointless that they went that way. But anyway, watch the Dracula show, the series on Netflix. I think it's only like 3 episodes, so...
I'm busy watching Zumbas, dude.
Zumbas?
Mm-hmm.
That is a scary image.
No, it's not.
Did not need.
It's not. Zumba. Dude, Zumbo. Seriously, go to Netflix, type in Zumba. Season 1 came out, and now season 2. It's excellent. It's a cooking show, essentially.
Oh,
right?
I thought you were talking about Zumba, like the dancing stuff, and I'm like...
Oh, no, that's Zumba, mother... No, Zumbo.
Yeah, so I get the image of Bamm up there just, like, shaking his moneymaker, and I'm like, oh, God, I don't need that image.
No. If I did that, we'd quite literally crack this earth in half. No. I don't fancy killing the planet I live on. No, it's there's a show I fell in love with, and it's hosted by the funniest person I've seen on TV in a long time. It's called Nailed It, right? I can't think of the comedian's name, but she is excellent. And it's basically, you've got this French cuisine chef. This is a different show, not Zumbos, by the way. French cuisine chef that has done all these lovely desserts and whatever have you. And you get these complete amateurs that have never been in a bloody kitchen. And some of the shit they come up with is fucking god-awful. Not cooked, not this. People get sick. It's fantastic. Zumbo is on the other scale of that. They're a complete flip coin on it, right? A bit more serious, whereas Nailed It, they know they're taking the piss. They know they can be a bit cheeky, be a bit funny, be a bit laughy. You know, it's the funny, it's the relaxing, funny side of pastry and cooking and Hell's Kitchen and that sort of thing. Whereas Zumba is quite serious. You know, he is a dessert chef in Australia. I say in Australia because he's Australian. This show is filmed in Australia, and he's all these Australian people who are actually pretty damn good at making desserts and whatever have to make a dessert for Zumba every damn day, and then the ones that fail have to do what they call a Zumba challenge. Now Zumba, he does like something like a 57 layer cake or something stupid.
What?
How the dude, bear with me, right? Not only is it that, it's in the shape of an egg. Right?
Okay.
Not only is it in the shape of an egg, right? This egg is glazed like a mirror.
Wow.
Right? No, dude, it gets worse. Right? And it just gets worse and worse and worse. I mean, I like to think I can cook, right? But when you see what this guy can do and what these poor people get put through, you're thinking, dear God, I'm too scared to boil a bloody pot of water. No, it's a damn good show. I think it's Zumba's Desserts or something. I can't.
It looks like Zumbo's Just Desserts.
That's it. Yes, I skipped the
looking
intro because the intro just it burns me. I've had enough of it after the 3rd episode. The intro burnt me. Sod that. I'm watching to get into the meat of it, and you should see some of the stuff these guys come up with, and it sounds delicious. And you're like, oh, I could kill for some of that. You know, they've got like passion fruit compotes and cheesecake and this, and it's all like, oh, I want to be there. I want to eat it. I want to be there. But it's like, oh.
How did you just go German?
Dude, I tell you what, sir, I want to eat the dessert. No, it's really good. And okay, yes, you can kind of guess who the winner is because the way they edit it, you know, because they do the show, they announce the winner, and then they get the winner and the failure back on, and you can see who wins because the winner's all happy and jovial, and the one who's lost is fucking pissed off as fuck. So you can kind of tell who's won the challenge because of the way they've been interviewed, because you can see the person. And the guy who's won is like, yeah! You can kind of tell. So they haven't really masked that as well as they should. But the latest one they've just done, there was I say Chinese, she might not be, I don't know. But there's a Chinese lass, and there's an Australian lad, and they go head to head, right? And I tell you what, this dude has been consistent throughout his entire challenge, as well as she has, right? And they're neck and neck. Personally, I felt he won because I think he did the better dessert. Plus, he did the entire dessert. He didn't miss a single thing. Whereas I believe, if I'm not missed my guess, she left something out of the dessert, and yet she won. So her flavors and her taste and her textures and her everything else must have been magnificent. Whereas his might have just not been on touch, even though he did everything. So, not being there, not tasting it, I personally couldn't say, but it was a damn good show. It's a good show. I enjoy Zumbo. It's good. Watch it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, you guys keep trying to throw shows my way. It's like, I've got enough shows to watch already.
No, dude, you'll enjoy it. You will enjoy it. It's good.
I don't get into reality TV.
No. It's not. But thing is, Drac, it's not like Big Brother reality TV.
No,
where it's
I know
boring.
that.
It's good stuff, man.
No,
it's good stuff.
I get that, but I just don't get into reality TV at all, regardless of whether it's Big Brother style or a cooking show or baking show or a singing competition. I don't get into.
No. I don't do that stuff. Look, I'm kind of there with you. If you get a chance, at least watch Nailed It. It's about 25 minutes long, and that lass is absolutely hilarious. And poor Wes. Oh, Wes, I feel for you, dude. If you ever get to see this, dude, I feel for you. he gets beat on, poor Wes.
Well, that might be the one thing that would get me to watch something, is if I was laughing through the whole thing, because who doesn't like to laugh?
You laugh so hard. You see this beautiful sculpted unicorn cake, and then you see something that's looked like it's been freaking buried in a dumpster for the past 3 weeks. Oh my god,
that's like the horror pictures you see online where people try to recreate something that they've seen online, and there was like a hedgehog cake that looked like a little demon cat or something like that.
To be honest, Drac, a lot of those the hedgehog cake was, I think, from Nailed It.
Oh, was it?
And then there's a unicorn cake, I think it was in season 3 or 4, whatever. And this cake looked fan-frigging-tastic. And the one that came out looked like it'd been stepped on, pissed on, shat on, and then set on fire. And you just can't stop laughing, because you know full well you couldn't make a cake as you know, anywhere near what this poor person has managed to cobble together. But you just see the end result, and it's like you've... howling. It's hilarious. And the thing is, the show knows it's not serious. And you see this freaking French pastry cuisine chef, right? Freaking Michelin star to Hill, High Noon, whatever have you. And he's howling. And then the comedian, the main host, is also giggling her ass off. And then you've got the guest as well, who's like quite a reputable bread maker in California, quite an old dear. She knows her stuff when it comes to baking, right? And she's wandering around the bloody show, right? This is the bit I was pissing myself laughing. There's this old dear wandering around the set of the actual cooking show, quite literally taking things off the shelf. I'm taking this home. I'm not joking. I'm taking this home. I'm taking that home. Oh, I'm taking that home. Shoplifting in the middle of a freaking show. I'm howling. Dude, funny as hell. Funny as hell.
Well, that definitely funny sounds like something I could sit and watch with the wife.
It's a laugh, and you know it doesn't take itself seriously, and that's what makes it good. You know, it's good. It's good. Really good. Yeah, I like it. I likes it. I do. I likes it. Yes. Yes. Well, that's I think Drac is it really, isn't it? That's it. Done. We're done.
I think we probably should, yeah. So we don't just keep rambling on.
Yeah, we're talking about food. I'm hungry. I want to go eat some food now. Probably bacon.
Candied bacon?
Oh, Zumba does some candy bacon. Oh. Dude, but the way he did it, it wasn't with apple, it was with pear, and it was... Oh. I want to go eat some.
All right. Well, while Bamm tries not to drool all over the place, I'll thank you guys for sticking with us. We appreciate you tuning in. We are working to get back towards the regular format. Most of the times of having interviews, we do, like Bamm mentioned at the beginning of the episode, have one coming up. I think it's early to mid-February is when it'll come out. Yeah. And yeah, we've been working on getting a few other things scheduled as well. So in the meantime, sorry you're stuck with us until we do. Yeah. But, you know.
Rambling on.
But, you know, as always, we appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. For those of you listening on the podcast app, we appreciate your listenership as well. And I am going to cut it here and get the heck out of here because I got to get this edited and out for the week.
Yep. Cheerio.